Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB Bikini Pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Today's guest is a 43-year-old working mom of four who began her competition journey in June of 2023. In just about a year and a half, and after 4 regional shows, she earned her pro card at her second national show, the Ben Weider, in November of 2024. And in June of 2025, so just this month, she competed in the DC Pro-Am Natural Pro Bikini Show for her pro debut, where she placed second. And outside of competing, she is a nurse practitioner who also runs her business, MLJ Aesthetics, in Boca for Botox injections. I'm really excited to learn from this amazing woman. So welcome to the show, Michelle Ferdinand-Jacques. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I am great. I'm so happy to have
Good.
you on and grateful for your time here. I know you've got a fun trip coming up this afternoon. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just looking forward to spending a little bit of time with you today. So, before we get into everything, I like to ask if there's anything you do or think about, or maybe a ritual you have right before your heel hits the stage.
I do have a ritual. Right before I get on stage, I have one Reese's cup,
Yep.
a little swig of vodka.
Really?
Yeah, and a little honey.
Nice. Do you
So
put the
right
honey
before
on
I
the
go.
Reese's cup?
No, I kind of just like that kind of
Mm-hmm.
motion. Yeah, I just go for it and
Love
I
it.
hit the stage. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. So do you do that like right before you pump or literally like before you go out there?
right before I go on stage after
That's
pumping.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
It gets all the jitters out, I'm
It
assuming.
really does. It really does. I always get nervous, but once I get on the stage, it seems like all the nerves, leave my body and I'm able to, shine. So it definitely helps with the jitters.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of amazing too, like how good a Reese's cup tastes backstage. It's
oh
like
my gosh, yeah.
Reese's peanut butter doesn't hit the spot the way a Reese's cup does.
Oh my goodness. It's like, and I literally wait until like that last week
Yeah,
to buy it because I'm just so looking forward to it. It means it symbolizes so much. It symbolizes that I'm close to the end. I'm almost there. So when I buy my Reese's, I'm like, yeah, let's go. It's time.
oh
It's
yeah.
almost time. Yeah. So,
Same. And my husband and stepson, they are Reese's fiends. So this past season, because I do the Reese's cup as well. I had to buy them. Well, I do the eggs or the footballs or whatever's in season
okay.
because I like the
Okay.
ratio better. Um,
Yeah.
but I have to hide them because I'm like, they're gonna
Mhm.
get to them, and I needed my peak pump up snack.
Right.
And I brought them to
Right.
the show, and they're like, "Oh, can I have one?" I was like, "I only brought enough for for my
Yeah.
pump up snack." But yeah, it's such a great moment. Like you said, it's really symbolic of all this hard work is coming to that final moment.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So love that.
So you're a proud natural athlete, which is
I am.
amazing. I think that's wonderful. You recently competed for your pro debut. You carried
Mhm.
on going into a natural show. There were only
Mhm.
2 competitors in that show. And
Right.
I'm really curious like how it felt to be on stage with only one other competitor for your pro debut, knowing that there was also like a non-natural part of the show that was like much
Right.
bigger. Like how did you feel about that experience?
So, and I'm going to be completely transparent. When I found out there was only me and another competitor, I was a little bummed because, I've been working very hard leading up into this. So I wanted there to be, some other competitors to see how I measure up. and it was a little bit, I don't want to say disheartening, but it's not what I expected. When you're in a lineup of like 10 girls and you place fifth, you could kind of see where you made out. But when there's only two competitors, it's hard to see, it's hard to gauge, where you would have placed otherwise. So, I mean, to be quite honest, I would rather have been in a line of 30 and placed 10th than been in a line of two and placed second,
Mm.
but it is what it is. I got some good feedback from the judges to see how I can improve moving forward. And that's really what it's about. It's about getting the feedback, going back to work, putting in the work. So that I'm very appreciative of. Gary is amazing. He runs an amazing show. He's the one who ran Ben Weider. So it was very well ran. I made some connections with some nice girls backstage. So in all, it was a great experience, but I do wish there were more competitors, and hopefully there will be, like, in the future with the natural shows.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually surprised there weren't some of the newer natural pros or some of the newer pros there. Um
Right.
Now granted they're not awarding that many natural pro cards. Like I really thought maybe at Pittsburgh they would have awarded more than two for bikini, and I think they
Hmm.
would have seen probably more people at that show.
Right.
Or any natural pro show this year, because when you only award two and those two girls maybe go, I need to grow. And then
Hmm.
now you have the
They're kind of
same.
out, right.
Yeah, exactly. So, did you have the opportunity? Like, could you have also registered to compete in open, or were you only allowed one?
No, I could have competed in open as well. I could
Okay.
have competed in open as well, but after speaking with my coach and seeing where I was size-wise, she feels that and I feel as well that it's better to kind of stay that natural route because I'm still growing, compared to these other girls. I'm still on the smaller end. I still have some growing to do. So just to start out, I still wanted to get in front of the judges to get their feedback, but just to start out, I'm sticking with the natural shows. I do know that there are other natural pros out there who do compete in open and they do phenomenal. So,
Right.
I do have that option, but for now I'm just choosing to do the natural shows.
I think that's wonderful too, because we need that representation of natural athletes. We need people out
Mhm.
there saying like, no, we want this. We want to compete in this way. And I'm wondering why that identity is so important for you, like why being the natural athlete is important.
Mhm. Um, I just feel that, for me and for my journey, PEDs it's just not an option for me. It's just not my identity, so to speak. I want to inspire women such as myself that are older, that have started their journey later. I want to inspire them to know that there is hope for them, and there's hope for them to do it naturally. Granted, I work really hard in the gym, genetics are on my side, but there's still an avenue to be able to compete naturally. You don't have to go the PED route. I think that there's a lot of pressure, surrounding the need to be on these, PEDs and everything. And, that's fine if that's what you choose to do, but it's important to know that there's other avenues as well. There's the natural route is also a way, to compete as well. Um, excuse me, I'm sorry. But, if women choose to go that route, I think it's important to be informed, you know, um, make informed decisions, knowing that, everything comes with consequences. Even though you're taking the lowest dose, that could still cause some kind of virilization. You don't know how your body is going to react to it. So it's just important to make informed decisions when it comes to the use of PEDs. But for me, for my journey, that's not something that, I'm leaning towards at all. I started this well into my 40s, did my first show at 42, so that's just not it's not an option for me to
I think
go
that's really cool.
that route. Mhm.
Well, also being 42, a lot of women would be potentially like getting hormone replacement therapy at that point. So, how have you managed like your hormone health, your overall health in this process, in this journey coming into the sport at what most people would say is later in the game?
Right. I mean, I always get my labs checked. Thank God I haven't had any issues with my hormones. I haven't had the need for hormone replacement yet. I know that's probably coming, but I haven't been there yet. But I also have a pretty healthy regimen when it comes to my off season, and my coach, the way she, the way we do our meal prep and our cutting and everything leading up to the show, it's very safe. There's no like 3 hour cardio. I'm not eating like 700 calories. She makes sure that I'm well fed. I mean, fed enough to,
Yeah.
I'm still hungry. I'm still very hungry, but I have adequate food. I'm not doing like a ton of cardio. So I think all that helps. When I'm cutting, it's a gradual thing. So with that being said, I think it's very important to get a coach that you can trust, because I see, well, I've heard of other women having to do all this like 3 hours of cardio and eating like very, very small, minute meals, and all that has an effect on your hormones as well. So I think it's that's really how I keep up with my health, is just trusting my coach, following my plan, having an off season, knowing when when's a good time to kind of call it quits for the season, and gaining my weight back gradually, and following up, of course, on my with my labs, getting my labs done. So that helps.
Very smart. Yeah. Actually, to that point, how do you determine when it's time to take a break or take a step back for improvement season?
So the my last season I did 4 shows, which was, honestly, I was on prep all pretty much most of the year. But after, universe, I just felt that I was so close that I just wasn't ready to throw in the towel yet. And I
Hmm.
think mentally I had to do Ben Weider, because
Yeah.
I just had a feeling, I had that, innate feeling that I was so close that I just couldn't give up. And so I did have like a little bit of an off season. I took like a couple months off, but I got right back into it. And I think mentally, more than anything, it's important to know when it is time to throw in the towel. But I was kind of like on a mission. So, and I speak to my husband, I speak to my family, because when I'm on prep, it affects all of them. So that plays a big role into me knowing when it's time to like be done. So I think last year was kind of the exception, just because I was on a mission, and my husband knew that, and he was supportive. So his support really helped. But for me, I think 3-ish shows for a season for me is plenty, because I have a life outside of this. So 3 shows for me is plenty. I like to prep in the summertime, because my kids are off from school. I don't have as many commitments in the summer. So from like April-ish to around July is when I like to um, kind of do my prep. Again, I'm making an exception this season
Yeah.
because I'm doing it. I'm doing a show in September, so it's like, I check in with my family and with my husband, and everybody is so supportive right now of my journey. So that's just, how I kind of keep that balance. Just always
Mhm.
checking with him and checking with my kids to make sure that they're okay with mommy being on prep, because when mommy's on prep, everyone feels it. I hate to say that, but everyone does feel it. I think I'm doing better when it comes to being on prep, dealing with the hungry and the agitation and everything like that. I think the difference from my first prep to now is like night and day. Like I could go
Wow.
out, I just bring my little food, so yeah.
That I my brain's going a few different directions. There's so much I want to dig into with that. Um,
Uh,
First, I guess I'll start with like what is the mission you're on right now for your season, and then we'll kind of backtrack to the family stuff.
so, my mission right now is to just keep getting feedback from the judges and seeing where I measure up. I would love to qualify for Ben Weider, you know. That would be kind of a nice, end to my season. So there's a couple of shows that I'm considering,
Mhm.
and that's the end goal, to qualify for Ben Weider this season. And and if that doesn't happen, that's okay. I just want to see, where I continue to improve, because I've been, kind of on a trajectory here. I've kind of been like
Hmm.
steadily improving. Every time I go on stage, I'm making improvements. And so I just want to see where I can go from here.
So help me
So,
understand.
mhm,
They're doing it differently this year, right? Like you've got to
yeah,
qualify for the Ben Weider as a natural pro, and then
correct.
you have to win that in order to go to the Olympia. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
And how do you qualify for the Ben Weider?
You have to place first for a natural pro show to qualify
Oh,
for Ben Weider.
okay.
So, I mean, there's very limited, opportunities. I think there's a few natural pro shows left. There's a few that I'm eyeing. So, we'll see which one I end up doing.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's
yeah.
that's awesome. So go get to the Ben Weider. Is that because the ultimate goal is then to get to the Olympia?
Honestly, Celeste, I never even considered that as an option when I started. I was supposed to be a one show, I'm
Really?
done. Yeah, I never thought I would be a pro. Like, that's not something that was on my radar at all. But after my first show, my coach was like, you have the potential. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, no way. And when I started to kind of see the vision, you know, I
Hmm.
mean, the fact that Olympia is even tangible is like amazing, So that was never on my radar at all. But, it's just nice that the Pro League is even making this tangible for someone like me, somebody who's natural, somebody who started their journey late. Um, so yeah, it's incredible that I'm even here,
Yeah.
so
That Ben
yeah,
Weider show is going to be almost like it would be like a natural Olympia in some regard.
correct, yeah. So it
Very
would it
cool.
would be, yeah, it would definitely be a full circle moment,
Oh
to
my
be
gosh,
able to do
yes.
that. So yeah,
That would be so cool. And
yeah.
it's interesting hearing you say that you didn't really ever even imagine you'd go for your pro card. It wasn't until your coach was like, you could totally do it. So when did you
Mhm.
decide for yourself that it was a not just a worthwhile goal, but it was like gonna be your focus?
Um, after after I did chiseled, I think in June of last year, and I got the overall for that. So after, I had been toying with the idea of going to Universe, but I really wasn't sure if I was going to go that route. But after that, I got that fire in my belly, and I thought, this is possible for someone like me. And I kept having this thought like, why me? But then it's like, why not? Why can't I be that?
Right.
So
Yeah.
um that kind of inspired me to take that risk and try and go to Universe. I ended up not getting my pro card at Universe, but I got, again, some really good feedback, and those girls they looked incredible. They looked incredible. And it's intimidating, when you're in
Yeah.
front of all these other women who look the way they do. And after I saw the pictures, I'm like, yeah, I look pretty good too. So, that kind of inspired me as well, that whole journey. And I think, everything happens the way that it's supposed to. I wouldn't change any steps in my journey. I was meant to go to university. I was meant to do these things. And so, it's been a crazy journey so far. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, you know, the future. When I turned 40, I really wanted to make a change. I've always been pretty thin, pretty thin, but I didn't want to be thin. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to have muscles. And so when I turned 40, I started doing Pilates. That's what started my fitness journey. I started doing Pilates. I did that for about 6 months to a year. And then I started going to the gym. My husband actually found me a trainer, and I started to train with her. And actually, my best friend, her name is Stephanie, she competes as well. And she did her first competition. And when I saw her compete, she told me, she's like, you can totally do this. And I'm like, I
Mm.
don't know. And she started telling me like she's weighing her food and doing stomach vacuums and all this. And it was just really intimidating. And a few months went by after she did her show. I met with her coach, who is now my coach, and I kind of started on my own journey. And fast forward to today, I'm still with the same coach, Body by Lolita, and it's incredible. I thank her for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. She saw the potential in me, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep going and see what happens.
If you're looking for competition heels, jewelry, and fun competitor extras, then visit shoefairyofficial.com and use code Celeste for a discount at checkout. Yeah, I think that's really wonderful when you have a team of people who believe in you, support you, push you, and you start to do those things that you never even entertained in your mind. Like these were
Right,
all things that they were presented to you, and then you were courageous enough to entertain it and start to
right.
toy with it. And then um I know how supportive the Body by Lolita team can be from what I heard. I interviewed Jody like years ago. Like it's been so long since I spoke with her actually, and I've seen the relationship you guys have
Mhm.
as a team, and I think it's just really special. And you had a stressful show day experience recently.
Yeah,
I watched your recap video and I was like,
yeah,
no, her makeup
yeah,
artist did not do that. So,
yeah.
how did you navigate the stressful experiences, and maybe how did your support system play a role in getting through that?
Um, so I had my husband with me and I had my best friend Stephanie with me, and it made a world of a difference. That heightened level of stress can do crazy things to your body in a short period of time. But I was able to, kind of keep a level head, just being, confident in the improvements that I've made, I think helped me keep a level head. And having them with me meant the world. It really meant the
Mhm.
world to me. And just thinking of how they've supported me up until this point. Stephanie, she came to Universe, and seeing someone in the audience, made a world of a difference. So,
Mhm.
but it was definitely stressful. I've never had a show day like that before, but I think again, I wouldn't change it because things happen. Things
Mhm.
happen and you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to go on stage and put on the best show you can and show off your physique, the best way you know how. So I wouldn't change, anything. I loved, the pictures. I felt like I looked great. It was a great time.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a very successful show for you for a lot of different reasons. And
Hmm.
you had shared one of the lessons that you learned through that was about posing and also
Yeah.
how you present on stage versus like and how you practice before going on stage. So,
Right.
what were some of the things you learned posing wise? And then, um, what are some of the things you're doing to make improvements on the building muscle? I believe they said in your upper body, between
Hmm.
now and your next move.
Hmm. So posing wise, when I was in my front pose, I was concentrating so hard on sticking my glute out that I wasn't standing very upright in my posing. So it kind of made my right shoulder kind of go up like this because I was just
Yeah.
concentrating so hard and sticking my glute out. And I think that what I do and what I've consistently done in the past is practice in the mirror. And I think what happens when you practice in the mirror, you are subconsciously making adjustments that you wouldn't make otherwise,
Mm.
and when you're on stage, you don't have that mirror in front of you. So I think moving forward, it's important to practice using my back camera, looking at the video and then making those adjustments. So I could kind of know where to shift my body without having to depend on that mirror or somebody in the audience because my coach wasn't there. So, sometimes you'll have somebody in the audience kind of telling you to stand upright or make those adjustments, but I didn't have that. So, moving forward, I think it's important just to practice using my back camera. As far as my growth, right now we're doing kind of like a mini um a mini clean bulking right now because I don't have much time before my next show to put on some good size. Lifting heavy, lifting extremely heavy. My coach is really good at that. I mean, we've built up so much in the 7 months that, I'm excited to see what else we can do this year. Because I only had 7 months between Ben Weider and now, and I went on stage about 8 pounds heavier than I usually do.
Whoa.
So yeah, I've made some incredible improvements and I'm curious to see, how much more I can improve moving forward. One difference in this prep than other preps that I've made is that I'm taking supplements. I never used to take supplements ever.
Interesting. Like
I
creatine.
don't like, yeah, like I'm doing creatine, amino acids, glutamine, um, the digestive enzymes, some other ones, but I never, I don't like taking anything.
Yeah.
But I am doing like supplements and it's like my body is reacting. I'm retaining the muscle better when I'm cutting. So I think that made a difference in this prep.
Oh, that's so
Uh,
awesome. And
yeah.
8 pounds is a major difference. I mean, you must have been working in your
Yeah.
improvement season.
Yeah. Working, lifting heavy, yeah, we made a lot of improvements.
How did
So
you go from this is going to be a one and done thing to where you're
mhm.
at now? Like, what was life like before 40? What was your lifestyle like?
So my life was really work, kids, my husband, and my family. I wasn't doing anything specifically for me. And I have some amazing influential women as friends around me who are doing nonprofits, who are, building their own companies, like doing amazing things. And I just wanted a piece of that. And I
Mm.
wasn't sure what my why was going to be, honestly. And then I started working out and I get so many messages from women who are just encouraged by my journey, who admire my journey, who are inspired. And come to find out this is my reason why. Like I love the fact that women are inspired, and not everybody is meant to be a bodybuilder. Like this is crazy. Like like
Yeah.
it's not for everyone, but at least women are inspired to go out on that walk or,
100%.
start their fitness journey, whatever that may look like to them, you know. Yeah, and that's what keeps me going, honestly, is the fact that I inspire so many people. I inspire so many women around me that are like me, in their 40s, feel like, because they have kids, because they have work, like like it'll never happen for them. And, I mean, I kind of had to wait my turn because right now my youngest is 9. She's going to be 10 in August. But when my kids were young, this wasn't an option. It wasn't an option for me. But as my kids got older, I was able to kind of make the time and, get on this journey. So, I want women that are out there to be encouraged that, even though their journey hasn't happened yet, that doesn't mean that it will never happen. Just be encouraged, remain hopeful, be kind to yourself, you know, um, and just, keep going. And again, just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it'll never happen. So,
Mm.
yeah.
That's really good encouragement, especially for
Mhm.
all of the women who feel like, oh, it's too late for me to do this, or
Right.
everyone else is
Yeah.
so, especially with this sport too, like, oh,
Mhm.
everyone's so young. Why would I want to compete next to these women who are 20 years younger than me? Like, I think
Mhm.
your journey really shows that there is a lot of beauty
Mhm.
to come from doing that, and you can achieve
Right.
so much.
Right. Right. And I think that, our biggest critics usually are our own thoughts. We're very hard on ourselves. And I just want to tell the women out there, give yourself grace, be kind to yourself. I'm really big into positivity and positive affirmations because the way that you think, it's what comes to fruition, and having those negative thoughts are not going to bring your greatest outcome. So just, be kind to yourself and be positive and, just stay motivated and stay hopeful, you know.
Yeah, I love that so much. Like, our life isn't over just because like we're a new age or we're older or we're
Right. Right.
different chapter. And it's
Mhm.
really cool to see all that you've been able to do for other women. You've said that that's really become your why, and that's something that is part of why you do this. And you've also shared, like you just shared, your kid is getting into his fitness journey too. So what do your kids, what does your family think about this? We talked a little bit about this earlier, but I'm curious, like, how do they view it? What do they think about their mom being a pro bikini competitor?
Mhm. So my daughter is 17 and she's also starting to go to the gym. And it's just nice to see my daughter mirror my behavior in such a positive way. So, and also that's important with the PEDs as well, because my kids are watching and I'm a very transparent person. So I want them to know that they can improve their fitness, they can improve their muscularity naturally. Like they don't have to go the PED route. So it's really, it's nice to see them starting so young. I see myself in my daughter, and to see her starting so young going to the gym, I mean, the sky's the limit for her because she's a mini me. And she dances. She's been dancing since she was 2, but now she's starting to go to the gym. And, it's really nice to see her mirroring my behavior. My son, he's 14 and he's like 5'10". He's so tall,
I was
but
gonna
he's
say,
also,
what?
yeah,
I thought he
he's
was like a high
tall.
schooler when he opened that door,
Yeah.
like maybe
Yeah.
junior.
Yeah, he's getting up there, but he's starting to, go to the gym in the morning with my husband. And, we're trying to do a little bulk for him. So he's, eating his eggs and, he's meal prepping his food. He's making his protein shakes. So it's so nice to see them mirroring our behaviors in such a positive way. And it's so nice to see them starting so young. I wish I had started young, but, I can't look back, but the fact that they're starting young is enough for me. So it's exciting to see.
Very, like they're modeling you not just in the positive affirmations, the positive outlooks, the way to see life. Like they're getting all of that from you and how you show up for them, but also they're mimicking what they're seeing. So they get to see their mom be strong and pursue her goals and push in the gym, and they want to learn from you. And not only that, but you have a husband who you're extremely devoted to. So was he into this prior to you getting into it?
So he's always been in the gym. He's always been working out, but never to this extreme.
Hmm.
So the first show that I did, it was supposed to be a one and done. And, he asked me, he's like, okay, are you going to do this again? And, when I told him I was, he was a little bit hesitant, but, he's an incredible partner. He helps me so much. He preps my rice. He makes rice a lot better than I do. So
Oh.
he preps my rice. He preps my sweet potatoes. Um, he's just been an incredible partner. And I think that he knows how happy it makes me when I'm on stage. So he's good with that. He's good with how happy it makes me. Um, and I think after Ben Weider, because he was with me, I think he was inspired by my
Hmm.
journey. And his support has been, I mean, I can't ask for more from him. I mean, with the moodiness, with the exhaustion, he's always been in my corner. And even after DC Pro Am, I was a little bit in my head, a little bit in my head. I got my feedback and I was kind of on the fence with what direction I wanted to go. Was I going to end the season? Was I going to keep going? And his first question to me was, so when's your next show? I'm like,
Oh,
okay, well, if you're going to support, then, let's go. So,
love that.
it's been amazing. I think he realizes that this is our life now, because he would ask me a couple times, okay, so is this your last show? So he doesn't ask me
Mhm.
that anymore. It's more like, so when's your next show? What are we doing? What's the plan? So it's just,
Cool.
yeah, he's amazing. And my parents too. And, they're just so proud of me. And, my sister, everyone is just so proud of what I've,
Hmm.
what I've accomplished. So it's nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's so amazing to have
Yeah.
that. Yeah, to have that support, to have that influence as well, that positive impact on your family, and then feel their
Mhm.
support have that positive impact on you is beautiful,
Mhm.
really. And I think it's special too, because you said this was you doing something for you. And
Right.
really the first time in a long time you were doing something for you, it sounded like. So all the times I've like watched your videos and read your posts about like how training's really therapy for you, like through the ups, the downs, there's
Mhm.
the training's been consistent for you. And I'm wondering if there's been any life challenges or changes that ever made you actually contemplate, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore, and then training maybe kept you going through it.
Yeah. Oh God, sorry.
Okay, it's okay.
So May of last year, my cousin passed away. She's like, she was like a sister to me. And she passed away from breast cancer.
Mm.
And it was right before, it was actually, I think it was before Chiseled that she passed away. And I contemplated quitting at that point because, it was a lot. I had taken off from work, to take her to chemo and everything. I had went part-time at my job, so we had grown really close. And when she passed away, I really wanted to give up. But I knew that that's not what she would want from me. I knew that she would want me to keep going. And so instead of quitting, I kind of used her death as like motivation, and I did it like kind of in her honor.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really hard time. It was a really hard time, but I stayed consistent, in the gym. And it was definitely, you know, therapeutic for me to do that. It's been a little bit over a year since her passing, and you know, I definitely could have stopped, but I knew that that's not what she would have wanted. She was at my first show.
Oh,
She was one of my biggest supporters. She was just, an incredible human being. Her daughter is my goddaughter. So, even though she passed, she left us this beautiful angel on earth, my goddaughter. She's a beautiful little girl. And so, I just kind of use that to to keep going, you know. And that's just I think it's just a testament of the kind of person I am, you know. Um, we're presented with these tests and we could either kind of wither away from it or we could make it our testimony. And I chose to, make it my testimony. And yeah, that was one thing that happened, during my prep that really, really could have thrown me off course, but I couldn't be, deterred. And my family, they were understanding with that as well. They understood that, this is not something that she would have wanted.
well, I just want to say thank you for sharing all of that, first of
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
because going through a loss at any time in life makes things much harder. And I think it's really special that she was so supportive of you early on, and then that
Yeah.
you were so supportive of her in her
Mhm.
process and in her fight, and then to be able to carry that fight on, in a sense, in your own journey and honor her through that is really beautiful. I bet she's probably so proud of you. And
Mhm.
having her daughter as your goddaughter,
Yeah.
I imagine there's a lot of beauty in that, like to be able to see her through your goddaughter. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I would imagine there's pain and reminders as well.
Mhm. Yeah, there is, but she's really thriving with, with everything that's happening. She's thriving. She's so smart and she's so beautiful and, she's doing really well. She has an internship at a law firm this summer.
Wow.
She's doing so well. So, we just try to gather around her as much as we can and support her as much as we can. And, with everything that she's been dealt, she's doing really well. So,
Wow.
you know,
How old is she?
she's 16.
Oh, and she's interning at a law firm already?
Yeah, for the summer.
Wow.
She's got like 1,500 on her SAT. She's going places. She's really smart. So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. I love that she has so many people rallying around her.
yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm appreciative of you sharing that and that part of your journey. I think it really is a testament to the type of woman that you are. Not only are you helpful and supportive, but also very strong, very resilient. And it sounds like competing's only really been positive on you as a wife, as a parent, in your job, and everything else. And I'm I'm really happy about that because I think some people will look at competing and let it then detract from everything else, but it sounds like it's
Mhm.
added to your life.
It definitely has, Um, I think with everything there, of course, is a downside, um, but it definitely takes mental strength as well as physical to do this sport. And if you're not mentally strong, it's definitely going to present struggles to you, with body dysmorphia, self-esteem problems, you know, um, so there is that negative side to it, but I have a strong support system, so that helps. And yeah, so I think for me, it's definitely been, it's been positive, but I know there are some downsides to it, I think it's more mental, it's a lot of mental challenges that present itself with this sport. So,
100%. Yeah, there's a lot of risks And being a mental health professional, I always like to tell people, I'm like, with anything, you're gonna come across potential risks. It's how you prepare for them, it's how you navigate them, it's how you even when they do come up, how you're accepting of them. Like, okay, I knew this was a potential risk. It's here. I prepared myself to get through this, or I have this support system in place that can help me,
Mhm.
or I've identified these resources. Because I really believe you can have both. You can have good mental health and be a very successful competitor. Actually, I think you need good mental health to be a successful
Right.
competitor. Although I've seen, very successful competitors end up struggling a lot with their mental health, and then they find that balance, and it's really, really amazing when they do, even better than it was before. So, before I get your best advice, I have been
Mhm.
dying to know what a day in your life looks like, with all
Okay.
these roles that you play. So, what does a day in the life look like? I know it's summer right now, so maybe it's different, but on a
Mhm.
normal day.
So on a normal day, working and everything, I usually get up at 4 o'clock. I'll get up at 4 a.m. Depending if I'm doing cardio or not, I'll make my breakfast, um, get to the gym. I'll usually work out from 5 to like 6 a.m. By 6 a.m., I have to leave the gym because I have to go home, shower, go to work. I usually clock in by 6:30. I'll work a full day, work till about 3 o'clock sometimes, depending on what shift I'm working. Go home, my husband makes dinner. I can't take that from him. My husband will get dinner prepared. Um, then we're taking the kids either, well, my daughter's driving now, but sometimes we'll have to take her to dance, or my sons are in Taekwondo. The baby, my Abigail, she was in tennis for a little bit. So we kind of get the kids to where they need to be. And I'm usually in bed by 9 o'clock because I have to do the same thing the
Mhm.
next day. So that's usually how my day goes. Um, Sundays, I kind of reserve Sundays for prepping my meals. Again, my husband helps with that. So we kind of have it down to a science where I usually do the proteins and he'll do like the rice and the potatoes and the vegetables. I usually buy my vegetables frozen, so I don't have to do anything with that. But yeah, so that's a typical day for us.
I love that.
Saturdays are usually spent, I have a pool, so usually by the pool, spending time at my parents. We spend a lot of time at my parents' house.
Oh,
They're a
good.
lot of fun. So that's usually, how the day goes. With 4 kids, it's constantly going. And if I'm on prep, usually I'm traveling to my coach twice a week to train. And I usually do that in the evenings. Depending on how my shifts are, what shift I'm working, I'll usually train with her in the evenings. So that makes my days even later. So yeah, that's usually how I make it work.
Wow.
I travel to Lolita. It's about 45 minutes each way. But the
Okay.
training that I get from her is like no other. She pushes me far past anybody can ever push me. So it's worth it to make the drive. And I love being there. It's like a second home. So whenever I get a chance to train there, I'll go. I go. So
That's wonderful. Oh, I
yeah.
love that. I mean, that's a lot, and it's so
Mhm.
inspiring to hear that. It sounds like you're managing it well. You guys have a great routine, and all your kids are so active too, which is
Yeah.
amazing that you're running them around all over the place. Sounds like you and your husband make such a great team.
Yes. Yes, we do. Yeah.
So now I'd love to get your best advice. So, what is your best advice for somebody who has never competed before but wants to? And then your best advice for someone who's on their road to pro?
So for someone who's never competed before, I would say make sure you get a really responsible coach. There's a lot of coaches out there, a lot to choose from, but look at those red flags. If you're eating 500 calories a day, if you're doing 3 hours of cardio, those are kind of red flags to kind of, you want to look into that. Get a really reliable coach, get somebody who's going to look out for your best interest. So that would be my bit of advice to someone who's competing for the first time. And for someone who is on their road to pro, my best advice would be to, let's see, work on posing, honestly, because no matter how your physique looks, if your posing is off even a little bit, it's going to make a difference. It's going to make a difference to the judges. And um, as a pro, that's something that I'm consistently working on. I mean, aside from other things, but the posing, you have to practice your posing. You have to have your posing down pat. So that's a bit of advice that I would give.
Love that. All of that's really great advice. I mean, you've already shared so much with us throughout the episode. That's been like these golden nuggets that I'm sure
Mhm.
and hopeful that everyone will share. So thank you for joining us. And I'd love for everybody to be able to follow you, connect with you. How can they do that?
On Instagram, my Instagram is Missy_loves_fitness. So you can
Perfect.
follow me there. I post a lot on my stories. I post a lot of funny stuff. So anybody who knows me knows I'm like a big kid. Like I'll never grow. Even with four kids, I'm just yeah. So follow me there and you'll get to see, a lot of day in the life stuff. So yeah.
That's awesome. So we'll put that in the show notes page. You guys, that's always on celestial.fit/podcast. If you're listening right away, it'll be at the top of the page. If you're listening in the future, just scroll down to the category section, which is alphabetized. Not only will you find how to connect with us, but you're also going to see a full episode summary, kind of like what you'd read on the back of a book. You're going to see a bulleted list of the topics we covered and episode timestamps so you can go back, listen to your favorite part, share it with your teammates, your friends, your family, let them know what resonated with you. And of course, tag us. Let us know what you thought or reach out to us. Love hearing feedback. Love seeing y'all listen. So it means so much to me, to the athletes, and for the show. So with all that being said, appreciate you guys listening, and I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world while you're listening to this episode. Just make it awesome.